So, when you're organising your event for your company or organisation, you may be tasked to source a band or entertainers or dancers for that event. So in this video, I'm going to take you through some operational considerations to take before you book such entertainment. This will help you know exactly what such entertainments require before they arrive for your event. So let's focus on bands first. Now, in my experience, bands will play 2 times 45 to 60 minute sets or 1 times 90 to 120 minute set. So do check with the band which format they prefer and also work out which is best for your event. Now, when the band arrives, they may have a PA system, but check first that they are bringing their own, because if not, you would need to supply this. They're going to need time to set up. That would normally take between sort of 30 minutes to an hour. But on top of that, bands usually like to do a sound check. So that, again, on top of the setup time, would take around another 30 to 45 minutes from my experience. Now, the band will also require changing areas. Now, if the band is mixed, they'll need a female area and a male area, and these areas need to be fit for purpose and not something like a toilet cubicle, and they ideally need to be quite close to the main room, so if they do have any costume changes during their set, they're very close to where they can change into that as well. Now, in the changing rooms or available to the band, they will expect some soft refreshments throughout the time that they are there, and they can be stored in the changing rooms for them to have when they need to. Also, most bands that I've worked with require a meal, and normally they have this before they perform. So depending obviously on how many are in the band, you need to budget for that number of meals. Now, at the end of the performance, my experience with bands again is that they like to pack down and go straight away, so that if you have a reservation about this, you need to speak to the band beforehand and see if there's an additional charge for them to wait till the end of the night. So it's best to consider all these points before you book your band or entertainment. It's going to help you with your financial and budgeting plan. It's also going to help with your time planning for your event. And of course, it's going to avoid any grey areas or ill feeling, confusion and stress on the day when the band do arrive. So now let's focus on booking dancers for your event and the slight differences between booking a dancer to booking a band. Now, with dancers, they normally perform up to 2 separate routines. Each routine is around about 5-6 minutes long, or a couple of tracks, and these are ideally placed either throughout the meal or maybe one slightly longer performance just after the meal. It's quite nice to actually have dancers perform after the meal to kind of insinuate the end of the meal and the start of the entertainment, and then you could go into dancing or anything like that. So things to consider when you're booking the dancers is that they are going to need quite a large area to dance in, dependent on the number of dancers you have. I would say a minimum of 5 meters by 5 meters clear area for them to be able to perform. They will require a PA system to be provided and an operator, and they bring the music along either on a USB stick, or they can sometimes send the music in advance. So you would need a DJ or a PA system to provide the music for the dancers. The dancers will require a changing area, and just like the bands, if there's female and male dancers, normally 2 separate areas is more acceptable. And these areas, again, ideally close to the main room if they have to do a costume change, but also fit for purpose. Dancers will also require refreshments to be placed in the room throughout the time that they are there, and will also require a meal, but slightly different to the bands. The dancers tend to have their meals later on, from my experience, after they've performed. So please do check with the dancers before you book them. A, do they require a meal, and would it be at the end of the evening or at the beginning before they perform? Also with dancers, they normally provide a meet and greet service for your guest, especially if it's a themed event, something like Las Vegas or a masked ball, and the dancers are dressed in costume. Offers a great photo opportunity, and also at the end of the night, once they've performed, some dancers would offer a service to stay on a little bit longer for further photo opportunities with your guests. So check with the dancers and see if they would stay a little bit later and have more photo opportunities after they've finished their performances. And finally, we'll focus on other entertainers, and I'm focusing here on entertainment like a close-up magician or a caricaturist or a juggler, that kind of performer. Now these kind of performers normally stay on site for around 3 hours included in their fee. They do sometimes require a small area to store equipment and possibly change again, and the normal rules for changing areas would apply. Now, if they're a local supplier, it's likely that they won't need accommodation or a meal, but they would require some refreshments. If you've got an entertainer travelling quite a long way to perform for you, then it is likely that they would require meal and accommodation. Now, these acts normally stay on site, as I say, for around 3 hours and then leave after the meal or when that 3 hours is up. They normally cover things like pre-doing the drinks and then perhaps go to the tables as well throughout the meal. So to recap, it is worth considering all of these points before you book any kind of entertainment. It's going to help with your financial planning, it's going to help with your time planning, and it's going to avoid problems on the day of your event. I hope you found this useful. As always, please do like, comment and subscribe to the channel for more event management information. I'm John Hewlett. Speak to you soon. Bye bye.